and we can do this in a civil manner. Now, this afternoon, we shall learn more about being civil and how we can level up our behavior and demonstrate good manners and conduct. Colleagues and friends, I hope you can all learn from this afternoon session and come out a better person after this session. You know, we're very happy. I'm very happy that we have Doc Suzie Benitez, who is an example of, uh, of good manners and good breeding, and maybe we can learn from her this afternoon. So let's go on with the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc Lina, for the opening message. Now, I'll be introducing Doc Susie Moya Benitez. So, Doc Susie toured the world as a young Bayanihan dancer and as a Karilagan international model. Although her academic background is in the Foreign Service, Assumption College, Public Administration and Governance, as well as Development Communication, University of the Philippines, Strategic Business Economic, University of Asia and the Pacific, Development Management, Asian Institute Management, doctoral credits in Public Administration and Governance, UP NCPAG Diliman, PhD in Social Development, Philippine Women's University. Her love for the performing arts made her pursue a career in arts and culture. While honing her dancing skills, Doc Susie worked as a deputy administrator at the Manila Metropolitan Theater for 10 years. As a business development manager of the Manila Symphony Orchestra, she set up a concert season for the orchestra for the next 10 years and built its orchestral resources through grants and innovative concepts for the young to appreciate the classics. Her social mobilization program, such as Teaching and Touching Lives, now on its 24th year, and the Bayanihan Fiesta Folkloriada, now on its 13th year, have brought Filipino music and dance appreciation to the grassroots as well as to the global scene. Today, Bayanihan is a 13-time World Dance Top Prize winner, and through her depth direction, the company has taken courageous steps towards innovations and change. A sought after lecturer on professional image, business etiquette, social graces, and communication for financial institutions, Dr. Susie served as the international juror in Europe and Asia. Seats as a chairman for Asia for Federation of International Dance Festival and was recently elected as chairman for the Commission on Ethics on the Federation, which is based in Korea. She was one of FWN's 2013 most influential Filipina in the world. Co-author of the Bayanihan book, 60 Years Fulfilling the Filipino Dream, Doc Susie has also written modules in dance and performing arts. Her dissertation entitled Inspiring Social Change Through Dance will soon be launched as a workbook as a resource guide entitled The Magic of Dance. So without further ado, I'd like to pass on the floor now to our dear Dr. Susie Moya Benitez.
Thank you very much, Miss Sara de los Santos, and pleasant afternoon to each one, to everyone. It is a rainy afternoon, but really, I hope that we will have a most enriching session for Kumustahan. Thank you very much, Dr. Lina Laigo, Institute of Family Life and Children's Studies, for this venue to show each one how much the PWU cares. All right, I would like to, yes, thank you very much for asking me to speak on a topic that is of value to me and I'm sure to most of you, civility in the workplace. During, well, some years back, I was quite active with American Society for Training and Development. And each year, we would meet, during a week's conference in the US, in Washington. And there was a particular year that I met a sought after lecturer who was giving sessions on civility. In that particular conference, anyone could get into any of the rooms and take in the sessions. Of course, it was intimate. The rest of my colleagues rush to business development sessions, mentoring, coaching, and leadership. But this particular intimate session really gave me a lot of interest and curiosity. So at the end of the 5 day conference, I had a small talk with a speaker. And during the conversation, I told her that I thoroughly enjoyed our sessions and I wanted to get hold of her book because most of the speakers were authors. And she asked me what was my background and the things that I was very interested in, the things I would be doing in the Philippines. And surprise, she was very happy to meet me because she knew Dr. Helena Benitez. She was also connected with the United Nations. She was a sought after lecturer and a diplomat. So she gave me the book for free. And she wrote, Dearest Susie, I really appreciate your valuing civility. She said, the problem with incivility in the workplace is that people do not see it as a problem. And a lot of people do not realize the toxicity of incivility in the workplace. What does it bring? Non productivity, low morale, low uh, lack of self esteem, lack of confidence, a stressful workplace, gossiping, rumor mongering, backbiting, and harsh way of conversing with colleagues. Why is that? One speaker then said, she never realized the toxicity of incivility until she walked into a dark hospital room and watched her father being revived because he had a massive heart attack after decades of toxic workplace. And she never realized that it was as stressful as that until she got into her first job. So, when I was speaking to Sarah, I said I would like to be consistent with the time allotted to me. And therefore, I said I will share 10 to 15 minutes of my own experience in corporate training. I have been doing corporate training for almost, well, more than 34 years. And I told her now I'm ancient. And every time I would meet up with executives to do needs analysis before I design the training program for them, there are questions and concerns that frequently, if not all the time, would pop up. And what I did is I wrote them so I don't forget. And we will tackle it one by one, and I will share with you. And later on, perhaps you can also share if you've been through the same thing. First is, first concern when I met with this executive, how do you deal with people who come looking so untidy, smelly, casual, inappropriate dress, and carrying morning stars? Then I did not know what were morning stars. All right. Aside from doing a grooming guide for the company, then we resort into discussing that how you prepare yourself when you meet people is really the message that you send to them. When people come into your office or enter the campus, I would always say once you enter your office building, you leave behind you. In other words, you become your company. You are the image of your company. They will not say, Susie was not friendly. Sarah did not know what she was talking about. or Pam and Petra just pointed me to where I was supposed to go without telling me the direction. No, they will say, at PWU, they don't know what they are doing. In offices, I would always say, when they come in and see shoddy looking people, they will wonder now the quality of work that they will produce. What kind of work do people who do not care about themselves do? The human element there that we must consider is people always want to be treated special, like a VIP. And therefore, it is civility is not charm school. It is really showing consideration for others. The other one would be, how do you deal? Okay? How do you deal with executives who cannot be promoted because nobody wants to work and collaborate with him? He thinks he knows everything, and no one can give in new ideas because he is the only one who knows. How do you deal with this kind of executives? And then, third, how do you send an excellent executive to meet important clients during business lunches when he is so silent and he doesn't know how to converse over business lunch, nor does he know how to eat properly? Of course, you come up with guidelines. What do you do with an assistant or a secretary who is so efficient, but I'm sorry, I had to let her go? Why? This was in one insurance company, very busy office, and the executive told me, this is a very busy office. And one very important client came and she complained. She was made to wait for her appointment because the secretary or the assistant was on the telephone chatting and laughing casually. And then after her meeting, the secretary looked up and said, "Bye, mom," and did not even bring her to the nearest door or elevator. Okay. The executive told me, "I'm very sorry, I had to let her go. We lost a very important client, not only because she was the wife of the company president, but she was the friend of the wife of the company president, but she was bringing in real big business. But she wanted to pull out business because the secretary did not treat her well." Okay. What do you do with people who come to office with very bad mood, cutting and being harsh and offensive to their coworkers? What do you do with someone who does not even look up from her computer while you are across her desk? What do you do with someone who is always on her cell phone during meetings? And what do you do with someone who, while you're talking to him or her, is on her cell phone? What do you do with people who will just interrupt a conversation, would butt in, enter your office room without knocking, and just interrupt? What do you do with people who do not use their P's and their Q's? Never say please, never say thank you. All right. It is very important that people not only do that, but must return calls, must reply to emails, whether you like the message or not. Do not grab anything from anyone's table without asking for permission, and you must always return it to the right place. What do you do with people who always talk so loud and laugh so loud as if they own the whole place? And what do you do with someone who is overly shy and refuses to go to any event without a buddy? We call that crutches. So I would always say we must advise them to always think out and not think in. How do you think out? You always think of the next person. You always think of the other person instead of just thinking of yourself. Let me just say that the way we look, the way we present ourselves, sends a message to the party you are talking to. One very good example is this. When I was starting out, pretty young and maybe not too experienced, I went to a session to conduct a training session for very experienced executives. I noticed that when I entered the room, excuse me, their faces dropped. They looked disappointed. Maybe they said, "This is a waste of my time having to listen to someone young and inexperienced." It's true. They were top-notch executives of that company, of that bank. Immediately, I use PSP. You lift them up and praise them by saying, "I'm very honored to be here today to give you some new, fresh ideas. And of course, I am very honored to be enriched because I know that you have very, very wide experience and there would be things that I will also learn. But I am sure that we will have both an enjoyable experience learning from each other." Their faces changed and I started to smile. I said, "You are all very well equipped, but you might just enjoy the new things I'll be bringing to you." And then S stands for share. I start to share and become very generous with sharing. And then I end it with the next P, praise them again, and tell them today was really an enriching experience for me. And I'm sure that you can also get by using the new ideas that I have brought in. Okay? And so that was the start. And sometimes I would have sessions with much older people one on one before perhaps they are promoted, before they're given another assignment. And it was good. People like to feel important. It's the human element. And during my last job as a vehicle sales manager, before I joined PWU and later on Bayanihan, I had a program I called Smiles. And there was a smiley at the entrance door and at the exit door. And so they were interested. What was the Smiles program? Well, it will remind my sales executives, I had 32 of them, to always smile and make people feel important. Whether they came to buy a car, whether they came to complain, they must feel that they are treated well. With courtesy, as Dr. Ligo said, politeness, although I always say civility is no charm school, it's more than that. And then I requested management for small round tables so the sales executives could speak with their prospective clients one on equal basis like investment bankers. So it was very much appreciated. Another example, and what could have been a good program but failed, was during my first job in the bank. Part of the marketing program, I had better banking girls. Who were these girls? They were trained so properly to attend to clients, so clients will not wait and they can answer all the questions. Why did it fail? It was very good in the beginning. Why it failed? Because the frontliners, the cashiers, the tellers complained that they felt they were not important. They felt they were not trusted, and they felt that they were not good enough to deal with clients. So it was removed. What could have been a good program failed because people felt that they were not important enough. So the human element, people would like to feel important at all times. Okay, we have a short quiz. You may answer beside you or put some points. I think this would be for your own um, information as well. So it's a short quiz. Let's see how we will go about it. Civility in the workplace, I always say, costs nothing, but it buys everything. A little consideration goes a long way. So the answer would be P or F, and you get 2 points after that. Number one, I hope you can see and read it. Hostile and uncivil behavior can affect an organization's bottom line. Next, the effectiveness of management is hampered by supervisors and civil behavior. Civility is a skill that cannot be measured. Mm. Stress is a major contributor to employees' uncivil behavior. The problems caused by incivility often are reported to management. Civility training can help diminish rumor spreading and gossiping. Inappropriate dressing and grooming in the office can be a cause of employees' rudeness. What kind of message do you send? In today's workplace, uncivil behavior should be tolerated as it encourages competition. Withholding praise from employees builds cohesiveness. Senior leaders, supervisors should walk the talk of civility. More than 30% of employees admit that they have yelled at coworkers. Accepting a gift from one who wants to do business with you is wise. We will tackle the correct answers later. Civility or respect is being mindful of the dignity of the human being in your sphere at all times. It is about the way we live our lives overall and the way we treat other people. Everything boils down to showing consideration for others. So, what does it bring us? Enhanced relationships, better sleep, happier, a smiling disposition, perhaps a better family life. Because we always say workplace is not only at work in the office, it can be at home and it can be in your community where you interact with a lot of people. Lasting relationships with substantial friends, more productivity, and a healthier outlook towards life. Okay, every time I would give a session, whether in a modeling school or in a financial institution, I would always say, during this whole day session, if you will only remember three things, I will be happy. These are what we call the three T's. First T is tact, making sure you don't offend anyone, you don't embarrass anyone, you are quick to praise, slow to criticize. because there are colleagues that are fast to criticize. Timing. There is always the right time for everything. Is it the right time to butt in? Is it the right time to say hello and introduce yourself? Is it the right time to ask for a raise? Is it the right time to ask for a promotion? There is always a right time for everything. The third T is tolerance, tolerating other people's faults because no one is perfect. Each one is unique, each one made to his own mold. So, tact, timing, and tolerance, please always remember. You know, there is a very nice story I wanted to say at modeling school here in Ayala before. Um, I would always have a group of very interesting people. One time, I had this very good looking guy who looked so familiar. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Are you the model in that billboard I see in EDSA?" And he said, "Oh, no, miss. Oh, no, now I know you are the commercial model. Are you the one in this particular commercial?" And then he said, "Oh, no, miss." I said, "But you look so familiar." And he said, "Miss, I was in your class before. Remember the three T's? Tact, timing, tolerance." I said, "Sure, now I remember." Imagine that. And he remembered the three T's, and he was with me a long time ago when he was still an employee of a particular office. Professional presence. Why do we always insist that one must look like a professional? As I said, as you enter the campus or your office, you leave behind you. You become your company. You are seen before you are heard. Your presence, your demeanor, even the way you would walk towards the client, your eyes have already sent a message. Eye contact, touch people with your eyes. Most of them will see the warmth of your support and interest. Exactly. So when people talk to you and their eyes are in on their computers, you find that very disconcerting. Through smiles, gestures, your voice, it speaks volumes. Communication specialists have established, okay, that people judge you. 55% of judgment is based on the way you look. That's so unfair, but really, that's the reality. 38%, the way we speak. And sadly, 7% of what you actually say. But it doesn't mean that you will just say anything that is crazy or without substance. This would be the immediate impact that you make is really that. The way you look, tidy, well groomed, no morning star, the way we speak with warmth, and what you actually say. So I would always remind there are softening techniques and hope you will remember this. Smile, openness. For one to grow emotionally, uh, openness to new experiences and people. Open gestures. F, forward lean shows you are interested. You're not sizing up the person. Touch. Of course, now during the pandemic, we don't shake hands, but you can touch them with your eyes. Eye contact, very important. It shows interest. It shows curiosity. In fact, they say it shows intelligence. Okay, smile, openness, forward lean, touch, and eye contact. The softening techniques And N is nod. Mirroring the person shows you're interested. Respect. Okay, so these are reminders. R for RSVP to invitations, whether you like it or not, please reply to phone calls, reciprocate kindness, responsibility, restraint, and recognition. E, ethics, expectations, elegance in appearance. S, stop, slow down, look serene and be serene. Sarcasm must always be avoided. P, patience, punctuality. Sometimes executives complain, how do you deal with tardiness, absences, or coming late in meetings? And of course, you have E, excellence, eye contact, empathy, empowerment. C, consideration, commitment, cooperation, conflict management, civility. D, say thank you. Work with a team. They say that the current century, the approach is team approach. Trust, thoughtfulness, timeliness, respect. Okay. Now the answer to our civility quiz. Number one, true. Number two, true. Number three, false. Number four, true. Number five, false. Number six, true. Number seven, true. What's this? Number eight, false. Number nine, false. Number 10, true. 11, true. 12, false. Those who got 20 to 24 are civility mavens and, of course, love to practice it. Those who got 10 and below must start learning about civility. Okay, so 2 points for each correct answer. Now, what are the guidelines for becoming a consummate professional? I added this because our president said, aren't you going to talk about professionalism? I said, there's no time. But I'd like to add this. Number one, always demonstrate a passionate commitment to your role, whatever role has been assigned to you. Do what it takes to get a job done. No excuses, please, because there are a lot of people with tall tales and script writing abilities. So please, just do your job. Set high standards. What's happening here? Hmm? Have a positive attitude. Look and carry yourself like a professional. Be a full-time professional even when the curtain is down. So even when no one is looking, you continue to be a professional. Model personal ownership. Don't lose your sense of humor. However, I always say this, don't take yourself too seriously. But for you to have a sense of humor, please make it A, T, and T. Appropriate, timely, and always tasteful. Okay, so I have here just a few reminders before we say goodbye to this particular um, topic. Finally, this is the last one. Okay, Remember, colleagues, always mind your manners. Avoid the common crutches. Always remember the three E's. So, always make an effort, bring your energy, and exude enthusiasm at all times. Dress appropriately. One last story. There was one executive who was so apologetic, and he told me, I am sorry. I committed a big sin. I had this very efficient secretary. You saw her outside. She looks very good. But you know what annoys me so much? And I am so distracted. Every time she enters my office to bring a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or a glass of water to put it beside my client, she would hold her neckline. And since my office is so busy, she continually enters my office. It disrupts me, disturbs me, and I worry that the client would feel like a stalker or would feel that he is being treated like a peeping Tom or that em- it embarrasses the client. So one day, at the end of a very busy afternoon, I called her in and I asked for my own cup of coffee. And here she comes, and here she comes, bringing my cup of coffee. She goes beside me as usual, and she holds her neckline. She bends her knees, by the way. It was so choreographed, and she holds her low neckline. And I couldn't stand it anymore. And I said, Daisy, not her real name, are those for sale? She turned red. She started to cry and she left. The next day, she did not report. But I said, anything that is not for sale, you must not display it. I'm sorry, he said. I committed a big mistake, but I couldn't stand it anymore, and I was embarrassed the kind of message that it was sending to my clients. So, how do we tell them that they have to dress professionally? Okay. So, during the ASTD, I would like to end with this. I had a session which also impressed me. Lee Cockerell of Disney Institute, he said, not every professional is a leader, and not every leader is a true professional. But if you want to be a good leader, you have to feel, look, and behave professionally at every moment of every day. So, no compromising integrity. Always do what you know and think is right. Eliminate pettiness. Take the courage to stand for what you know is correct. Commitment is important. Maintain your poise, your calm. Do not panic and continue to learn. Otherwise, you will become irrelevant. And share personal experiences with others so they can also learn as much as you have learned. So, I would like to end the sharing by saying, let us always remember the four C's: courtesy, caring, charm, and chutzpah, taking the risk and the daring. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right. So you can open now your videos, everybody. so that we can see your face. And I'm seeing in the room po, our president, Sir Marco. Ayan. So beautiful. Would you believe, Doc Susie, talagang nag-laser ako, nag-ayos talaga ako. Actually, naka-shoes pa ako ngayon eh, alam mo yun?
Okay, good. That's good. Okay. Yeah, see, even when the curtain is down, you
Yes.
still
Even when
look
Doc Lina is not looking.
very. That's right.
And also, I have to prepare the area, the room.
Okay, okay, that's
Uh,
good.
ayan
Yes,
po.
yes,
It's
yes.
really work from home that I need to embrace. And your session is really pretty timely and very, very important to everyone. The respect, the treaties, the C's, and many more.
So good. Thank
Okay.
you.
So, Sir Marco, would you like to say anything,
Oo, parang kulang sa
sir?
consistency na yun ko takot ako.
Okay, Sir Marco. Andito na ba si Sir Marco?
I
There.
think I was.
Alright. Ayan. Hi, sir. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Well, thank you for the talk. I think it was definitely um, very informative and very inspiring. And I think my 2 cents worth, civility for me boils down to kindness and respect.
Lalagay ko ng mga yun.
Um, we have to acknowledge that we
Sige.
are part of a community, and being part of a community means that it's not just you who are the one working. We belong to a group, we belong to a team, so we have to be sensitive to the feelings, to the perspectives of other people, and that can mean that means a variety of things, from being open to different perspectives, different arguments, agreeing to disagree. At the same time, it can also be as simple as being presentable, coming to the office or coming to a virtual meeting, presentable, so that we are able to give a pleasant experience. Again, I go back to the golden rule, where you do unto others as you would have others as you would like others to do unto you. So, if you would like to have a pleasant experience meeting with other people or talking to other people, then it assumes that others would also want to feel the same way. And I think it at the most basic core, it boils down to that, kindness and respect to everyone we are working with. And like we have always been stressing, we are all in this together as a community and as a family. And it takes everybody working together and being sensitive to each one's feelings and to each one's perspectives and points of view, well, which will make us successful. So for me, that is my 2 cents worth. Thank you.
Thank you for that 2 cents word, Mr. President. Thank you po. Um, we still have a lot of time. Ang galing ni Ma'am Susie of organizing her time. So, so thank you. Anybody from the group would like to share an experience of about the topic, work experience, or what? Ako meron, pero later na ako. Kanina pa ako nagsasalita. So anybody po from the 70 people in the Google room. So Doc Susie, maraming salamat. Pinataas mo ang ating number. Because we started off from 38 participants on the Kumustahan, and then nag-build up tayo to 53. Ngayon po, 70 in the Google room.
Oh, thank you very much. Is that all?
Yes po. Yes po. Yes. Anybody who'd like to share? You can
Share.
open your video so we can see your face para we can see if you're nodding. Yeah. Because at times in the Google Room, di po ba, minsan nakakalimutan natin na on video tayo and then we're doing a lot of things. Wala yung focus natin on what we do. So, anybody po? Ma'am Ruth?
Yeah. Okay, I agree with what she said, and really, even when the curtains is down, you still have to look good. It's not really about other people seeing you. It's about you yourself loving yourself first
Yeah,
before you can send the love to others. If
very
you
true.
don't really, sometimes you, because of the work that we have right now, especially at home,
True.
sometimes we are not in our proper attire. If you will attend a synchronous class, they are asked to wear the uniforms for the children. So why can we do that as employees? Of course, hindi naman sobrang bongga unless you have a meeting, 'di ba? So, well, saying so, kailangan medyo maayos din tayo. So, when someone calls us, sometimes may nag-hangouts, bigla na lang nag-pop up yung mukha mo, di ba? Hindi mo pala napatay yung iyong camera and you're not even dressed well. So, it's just being ready every time. Parang Girl Scout, di ba? Laging handa.
Mhm.
Yun lang. That's what I can share.
There's any question?
Nakamute ka, Miss Sarah.
Thank you, Miss Ruth. Anyone from the participant, you may have some question that you'd like
Open
Dr.
the chat
Susie
room.
to answer, to address.
It's in the chat room.
Yes po. Ma'am
Hello.
Victoria. Hello, Ma'am Josephine.
You can call me Joy.
Yes, Ma'am Joy. Tamang-tama po. Joy to the world. Malapit na ang Pasko.
Okay.
Yes, yes, Ma'am
Sige.
Joy.
Um, I just came in. I heard Mom Susie said that there is always timing for everything.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe this is the time to tell something about our speaker. Hello?
Okay. Yes, yes, loud and clear,
Can you
ma'am.
still hear me? Yeah, can you
Yes
still
po,
hear me?
loud and clear.
Kasi ang PLDT eh. So anyway, around maybe more than 2 decades ago, so maybe 25 years ago or more, I've been seeing Mom Susie during the, of course, until now we still have Bayanihan, right? So every time she walks within the campus, I really admire her. So maybe she doesn't know about it. Maybe she even doesn't know about me. I'm from SHM, from hospitality management. And then back then, I really look up to her, the way he project herself walking in the campus, the way she speaks until now, very subtle and very respectful talaga. So, yun lang ang masasabi ko kay Ma'am Susie. Maybe this is the right time to say something that I've been keeping for years. Kasi I would not approach her naman na, ay ma'am, I, 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 I really like you. So, hindi, it's not, maybe she said kanina, no, it's not really appropriate to say something to a person. But if it's not time, dapat may timing. So, parang ganon. So,
Thank you
maybe
very
this is
much.
really time. Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Classmate kami ni ma'am sa chapel eh. Kaya lang, for the past 6 months talaga hindi na tayo magkikita muna.
Oo. Thank you very much, Miss Joy. Really,
Yes.
people like to hear these things,
Mhm.
especially if it's said very sincerely. This is what we call people like to be lifted rather than to be brought down. So PSP is you praise, you share, and you praise again. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you po for bringing joy sa puso ni Doc Susie. Miss Joy. Who else would like to, to ask question, share about your civility experience? I can see faces. Sir Noel? Sir Noel, nananawag ako.
Good
Alright, thank you, Sir
afternoon.
Noel.
Hindi, siguro I'll take this opportunity. Hindi ko rin alam kung appropriate at this point, no? Kasi I've known Ma'am Susie since 2011 lang yata eh. 2011. When I came in as a faculty of SLAN, yun yung time na wala pang gallery, no? So, I think we borrowed si Camps, no? And we had a group show of the fine art students, no? And I was surprised the next day when before we opened the exhibit, Ma'am Susie came in and she was very appreciative of the show. No? Sabi niya, wow, this is a good show and maybe you can do more of this. So, parang na-embarrass ako sa parang na-embarrass ako dun sa I'm not used to that eh. I'm not used to accepting compliments. Ano? Parang so hindi yata ako nakasagot sa inyo, Ma'am Susie. I wasn't able to respond. Sabi ko lang, thank you, Ma'am. Maybe we can do future projects. And then, yun na nga, we started with the gallery. And she would always grace the occasion. No? Whenever we invite them for openings. And ang ganda, until March, I think, before the lockdown, she was there for the printmaking competition. And we really are grateful for that, Ma'am Susie.
Oh, I thank you very much. But really, becomes an asset to the school as well, because when we say pursuit of excellence, well, that's the window, the showcase of excellence. So thank you also.
Salamat po.
Oh, pagkatapos po ng Joy to the World, punta po tayo kay Noel. Noel. So, Pasko na. Baka naman pwede kong isunod ang victory, si Ma'am Victoria. Si Govia. Nakita ko kasi sa mukha niya, very eager siya and she wanted to share. Now you can unmute, ma'am. Ma'am, kailangan mo mag-unmute. Very good, ma'am.
Are you calling me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ikaw na. Kasi natawag na po si Ma'am Ruth.
Okay.
Diba? Ma'am Ruth is...
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Dr. Benitez. Well, everything she said is she herself. It is a personification of who Dr. Susie Benitez is. Everything she shared. That's why it was so entertaining. I was listening alone here and I kept on smiling and laughing to myself because I found the points that she gave us very appropriate and I'm learning a lot from it, realizing so many things that sometimes we just take for granted, but they're really very important. The little things that happen to us every day is very important in organizational behavior. Thank you very much, Dr. Susie.
Thank you too. Thank you.
Okay, so from the biblical name Ruth to Joy to Noel to our victory, who'd like to be the next to ask question or share? Okay. Anybody? Sino pa po ang gusto mag-share? Mukhang sinuswerte tayo ngayon because yung connection natin ay tuloy-tuloy lang. Mukhang pagkakataon ko na maging pumili ulit. Pwede po kaya si Miss Zara, si Mace ng HR? Miss Mace? Miss Mace, are you there? Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Miss Mace, ikaw na.
Hello po. Hello po, good afternoon. One thing lang po siguro is that, sa HR din po kasi, I think one time, we had a collaboration po with Campus Life with Doc Suzie. She also gave talk about training on professionalism. And ayun po is she also have a talk regarding to things that are very important for employees to know. It also tackles about the how you speak with clients, and I think that's very important po for the employees to know kasi minsan po at times may mga part na the employees minsan nakakalimutan, and it's very good po that the employees are being refreshed on this kind of things po. So, we will be able to present ourselves better to our clients po. Ayun lang po.
Wow. So, maraming salamat, Miss Mays. Pwede ba akong tumawag ng isa from GCTO, from the Guidance and Counseling Office? Paolo, are you there? Sir Pao? Mamsel?
Ito si June.
Okay. Mukhang na-drop out sila eh. Balik po kayo kapag okay pa. Alright, anybody po? Lalaki ulit. Sir Raul. Ganyan. Pag nakasmile talaga, tatawagin ko yan. Sir Raul, yes. Sir, unmute po kayo. Sir Raul, I can't hear you. Sir Raul. Ayun,
Hi.
thank you. Hi, good afternoon.
Dito ako, Ma'am Susie, is very relevant sa panahon ngayon. At the same time, with her leadership and with Ms. Mariel Benito's leadership, during this pandemic, kailangan mag-share tayo ng talent. So sa mga pag-stay ng bahay, nakagawa ako ng videos about table tennis, and I'm lucky to be one of the invited guests sa ITTF last week. Nilagay doon, coach from PWU, natutuwa ako kasi masaya dahil sabi nga ni Maril, mas marami ko nagawa sa bahay. And of course, yung free na piano lesson, I learned how to play ukulele, nagbebenta gusto ko as puppet. So, belated happy grandparents day sa lahat ng mga grandmothers. So, kapalabuha akong gawin yun, pero mas maganda nakapagpasaya tayo ng tao. Yung lagi si Ma'am Suzie nagkikita kami pag nag-good morning ako. And then, yan talagang all smile niya, yung concern niya sa lahat ng employees. So, kaya pagka yung nag-game kami, talagang nakatingin kami lagi yung what is PWU outside during the game and table tennis. Kaya yung support nila with the sports office, sa lahat ng staff, I'm very thankful, very timely talaga yung topic ni Ma'am Susie ngayon. And we have to share kung ano yung talent na meron tayo. Libre natin i-share yan. Kasi mas maraming sumasaya and we don't know yung mga blessings na dumarating talaga. So kahit na ngayon medyo pandemic at hindi lumalabas, very timely itong topic. Talagang nakakataba ng puso, nakaka-uplift ng spirit. So thank you Ma'am Susie. Talagang hinintay ko lang talaga magandang signal ng ng website. Pasalamat din ako, hindi ko napuputol. So thank you very much.
Thank you too, Raul.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you talaga.
Madami kang ginagawa, ha? Gusto mo magtrabaho from home.
Ma'am, ano po, I can share. Yung napadala ko sa inyo, hindi
Very
pa
nice.
lahat.
I know. May puppet ka pa. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Actually, katabi ko siya. Ayun, no?
Okay.
Ginawa ko ng damit.
That's what we call reinventing. So why settle for ano? So you continue to reinvent yourself and find out how can you project a better you so you can share with the community.
That's what I'm willing to share. Lalo na exercise natin, physical exercises, stretching. Na-post ko na po. So I hope, sige ma'am, magpo-post ako ng stretching. Kailangan natin to fight COVID.
Okay.
Buwis buhay ako doon, buwis buhay ako, pero I have to do it. Dahil yung video namin ng mga players, kailangan sumabay ako. So ma'am, kailangan natin to. Kailangan natin ng stretch.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Ayan. So, maraming salamat po, Sir Raul. At ang cute po ng puppet. Siguro po, Salamat po sa pag-share. Tsaka pinagpipray ko po talaga na mas stable pa yung internet connection natin. So, eto po, I'd like to call in if Ma'am Remedios Cruz can share. I'm seeing people from the sides. Ma'am Remy Cruz.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon po.
Afternoon. I think our discussion today is very timely because that's exactly what we had as young students at PWU before. People were proper, properly attired, good mannered, they came on time, they were committed, and so on. So it's a matter of reviving it. And I think Dr. Susie is the person to keep that alive. So I've been with the school long before all of you were born. So I've seen it. I've seen it, and somewhere along the line, we lost a lot of it. So there was a time when they said PW girls were just the girls to have because they were so proper. Our faculty were so proper, well dressed, communicated well, and they were committed. And I think that should still be around today. And Dr. Susie, we wish you well in your effort to revive it. We'll be there to support you.
Thank you very much. Thank you po, Teacher Remy. It's really, it's also a privilege for me to be here talking and you are there because you've been there, you've seen it all, and you've seen how the reputation of PWU has been and why grandparents and parents would insist that their daughters and their granddaughters go to PWU because of that kind of reputation. In fact, we always say it's everything. Doesn't cost much, but it buys everything. Thank you very much po.
Thank you.
Thank you po. Thank you po, Teacher Remy. And thank you po for correcting my PowerPoint. I appreciate it. Because I did see na I put unmute, dapat mute. So maraming salamat. Next po, I'd like to call on Sir Jones Baguio. Sir, kita ko kasi naka-green light ka. So ibig sabihin okay ang connection mo. Sir, are you there? Sir Jones? Sir Jones, nag-unmute ka. Anybody would like to share po? Just speak po para I can catch you. Hello? Ma'am Nancy. Ma'am Nancy, nakita kita. You're green. Magandang hapon. So it's you.
Oh, maganda ka pa sa hapon.
Yes. Maraming salamat
At
po.
maganda kayo lahat ngayon. Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Just want to share and maybe this is the time to thank Dr. Suzie. Okay. Way back, siguro mga 10 years back, when there was this offering of international diplomatic culture and public diplomacy. Okay. So I enrolled that. Sabi nga, it was a whole semester course, okay, for culture and public diplomacy. So I enrolled in the class kasi I was a member of that project going to Jakarta, Indonesia, and giving capacity building seminars for those who handle the migrant workers. So I enrolled there, and one of the topics that was given to us, that was headed by Ambassador Manalo, even before the School of uh, Helena Z. Benitez School, International Relations has been um, established. So bago lang, after nung session, after nung course namin, doon, ginawa na yung HCB course. No? So, one of the topic was proper decorum. Okay, syempre ang ano doon is for international relations and diplomacy. Because during my first trip to Jakarta, syempre, bagong bagong lugar, bagong tao, may language barrier pa. Tapos, I didn't know that our participants in that workshop, seminar workshop, where uh, would be embassy officials, o would be consulates, yung mga ganon, no? So, ngayon po na-recall yung mga sinasabi ni Dr. Susie na should be timing, how to deal with those in the position. So, kasi very anxious ako noon na paano ako haharap, syempre, anong isusuot ko, yung lahat na ganon, no? So, when I attended the session, after that, sabi ko, medyo confident na ako, ganito pa dapat ang isuot. So, when you're with, uh, with the higher persons in the uh, higher officials of government. O to think, ano pa yun, sa ibang bansa pa yun. So, I learned that from Dr. Susie. So, ngayon ko lang siya na-recall yung sinasabi niya na ito, kung paano mag-dress up, how to deal with those higher than you, kasi yung kwento niya na she was looked down kasi yung mga audience niya ay mga high-ranking officials or executives. Tapos she was probably the youngest in the audience. So, after the session at that, so sabi ko, medyo confident na ako. So, nag-start na ako na I was hired as consultant sa DOH. So, yung mga travels ko within the Philippines, naging libre. Kasi, ano yan, giving talks, giving lectures, and dealing with other high-ranking, sabihin natin, officers or officials, executives. So, I learned really a lot from Dr. Susie. Ngayon ko lang po siya sasabihin. Although sa school, ang pinag-uusapan namin, how to promote the dance academy, which at this time, hindi na namin naupuan. Okay? Hindi na namin naupuan. Sana matuloy pa rin yun when all this pandemic or COVID-19.
Yes.
So, thank you. And I felt I was equipped with the proper, sabihin natin, proper decorum. And sorry, I was late in the session kasi I was preparing for my class. I have my class at 5 o'clock this afternoon. So thank you, Dr. Suzie, and thank
you very
giving
much.
me time to share.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Sarah.
Hey, Ma'am Nancy with civility. So we're right on time. So let's embrace civility. So to give us the closing message, of course, I'd like to call again my director sa Institute of Family Life and Children's Study. So dahil sa kanya, kailangan maging maayos ako sa lahat. Kasi pagka hindi ako maayos, lagot. But then, simple things and all. Siguro, before, Doc Lina, very quick lang. Kay Doc Susie, sabi ko kay Ma'am Glenda, minessage ako ni Doc Susie friends kami. Siya yung naghanap sa akin sa Messenger. Na-touch ako. Because I was always communicating with Doc Susie na sa email, formal, and ganyan. Hindi mo alam kung paano ako natatakot sa'yo, paano ba ito kakausapin. But then, hinanap niyo ako sa Messenger, ay, na-touch po talaga ako. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you too. Thank you.
Na-relax ako at naging kalma ako sa ginagawa ko dahil civility po ngayon. So sabi ko, I have to start on time. I have to put everybody that I needed on time so that everybody will be okay. So thank you, Doc
Thank you
Susie,
and congratulations.
for that. For how you make me feel, for your warmness. Ayan, maraming salamat po. So, I will now give the floor a question.
Okay.
Lina, pagbibigay natin. Okay. Sir Jones? Thank you, Ma'am Glenda. Ganyan talaga si Ma'am Glenda. Yes po. Go ahead.
Pakibasa po yung sa chat box.
Nasa chat box ako. Sir Jones, question. How would you deal, for Doc Susie, pahabol po. How would you deal with unacceptable behavior, wanting a colleague to cover up for her colleague and start threatening, by the way, my internet connection is no longer working well. So the question is, how would you deal with unacceptable behavior, wanting a colleague to cover up for her colleague and start threatening? My threat, Doc Susie.
Okay. Frictions, frictions are inevitable in the workplace because no one is perfect. No workplace is perfect. And therefore, you meet all kinds of personalities. You meet all kinds of temperament. And what we said earlier, to be a true professional is to stick to what you think is right. So when you are threatened, then from my end, my own personal opinion is to ignore and just to go ahead and make that commitment to do what is right. So that's integrity. Why would you cover up for a wrongdoing when you know very well that it is not good for your company and as well for the person? Okay, so that is the best way is really to ignore it and to continue to stick to being a true professional.
Okay. So addition, Doc Susie, to Sir Jones, you are an epitome of kindness, courtesy, elegance, professionalism. She is a woman of substance.
Wow. Thank you.
Okay, so no more question, Ma'am Glenda. Thank you for backing me up. Thank you so much, Ma'am Glenda. And now, totoo na to, Doc Lina. You look so beautiful today. I love your hair. And I'll now give the floor to Doc Lina for our closing message.
Thank you, Sarah. And thank you very much, Susie. I mean, that was really a wonderful session that you gave us this afternoon, full of lessons and on how to behave properly, not only in the workplace, but very much relevant also to our families and to our homes. In fact, the three T's that you were mentioning, timing, tolerance, and what's the other one? And timing, and tactfulness, timing, and tolerance. These are the three things that we have to remember when we deal with our parents, when we deal with our children, para everybody doesn't get angry, smooth relationships. So that's what we need to do during this pandemic, especially. That's what we need to build. And I would also like to touch on what Premise said about women's of the old times. The reason why my mother insisted that all of us, her children, will go to PWU is because she wanted us to develop that total personality, that the with the broad-minded perspectives that PWU was teaching students. And in fact, I wish those those lessons that we learned in the past would still be around. We have our moral, social, civic education lessons, and you know what you mentioned today, is the whole MSc Ed already of PWU. And you are the perfect image of what PWU wants students to be like when they graduate. And I salute you, Susie. Thank you very much for the lessons that you gave us this afternoon, Marco, and your other daughter must be
Marielle?
yeah, Marielle must be very, very proud of you. We're also very proud to have known you and to be part of your life here at PWU. Thank you, everyone, for listening in, and I hope that we all have take-home lessons to learn and start applying them to our own lives. Thank you and good afternoon. And thank you, Sarah. You did very well too.
Yes, ma'am. So maraming salamat. Maraming salamat sa lahat. So 51 people pa po inside the room. Maraming salamat for staying on. How I wish everybody can share. Pero natutuwa po kami talaga on this kamustahan na malaya tayong magkwento ng nasa loob natin, mag-share. Maramdaman na kapantay natin yung mga senior na minsan parang, naku, paano ko ba ito kakausapin? Pero with this kamustahan, parang meron po tayong equal ground para po maging tayo lang. Lalo na po ngayon, panahon ng pandemya. And then also to see each other virtually and beautiful faces, yung mga matatagal na hindi na natin nakikita, lalo na po yung mga naka-work from home arrangement. And thank you po for allowing those you allow to do the work from home arrangement. Maraming maraming salamat po. Thank you, Doc Lina, for the opening and the closing. Sir Marco, thank you po. So mag-clap-clap na lang po tayong ganito. Ayan po. Ito na daw po yung uso. So marami mga virtual clapping, mga thumbs up. Ganyan. May mga kaway-kaway na ganyan. Sir Marco, maraming salamat po kasi hinabol talaga kita. Ni-request ka ng mama mo for the opening. Tapos sabi ko kay Ma'am Glenda, busted ako. Sabi ko, Doc Lina, SOS na. Sir Marco has another meeting because sabi nga ni Doc Lina, wag mo na i-bother yung president kasi mabait masyado yon, wag mong inaabuso. Sir Marco, hindi kita inaabuso. Ni-request ka talaga ng mama mo. Thank you, Miss Marielle. Thank you, Miss Marielle po, for assisting your mom. And thank you, Miss Arlene, kasi chinecheck ako ni Miss Arlene. Thank you, ICT. Thank you po sa Media Center. Maraming, maraming, maraming salamat po for everyone na nakarating. So, thank you, Ma'am Susie. Mukhang mahirap na habulin ng 74. Sana po ma-reach ko yung 100. Ma-reach natin yung 100 sa kumustahan and everybody would be joining. And ayan po. So maraming 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 salamat po. So we start on time, we finish on time, and salamat sa pag-grant ni Lord na stable lang karamihan sa ating internet. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you po. Thank you very much po. Maraming